No, you're good. Thank you. Good evening. Thanks for coming. As Noel mentioned, my name is Chad Schaefer. This is my wife, Colleen. We have a 7th grade daughter, Georgia, and boy-girl twins that are in the 2nd grade, Cameron and Caroline. So we've been at the school for going on 8 years now. The experience has been wonderful. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why we chose Mother Teresa. When we were first deciding what we wanted to do with our kids for school, there's a lot of great options in this area if you want to stay in this area. Whether it's the private school route, whether it's the public school route, there are a lot of great options. For us, it was more about manageable numbers. And it was really, given the choices that we had, we felt like our kids were going to get better attention, better values, a better opportunity, and a better environment in a situation like this. As we started to look at Mother Teresa as an option, both Colleen and I did go to Catholic schools for grade school and high school, so that part was important to us, but certainly not something that was an absolute given. But we definitely wanted to have an environment where those same values were instilled, and there was that faith-filled background. But most importantly, our daughter was going into kindergarten, and we were hopeful that we were going to be able to have more children. We really wanted a school that we could grow with. And when you look at what we've done here in the different phases and the growth phases that we've taken on, we're not in a landlocked situation like a lot of other schools are in this area. The school can grow with your families and your extended families, and will continue to do so. And the steps and obstacles that the school's overcome in 20 years has been really, really unbelievable. So that was an important piece, and I don't think a lot of people think about that as, how's the school going to grow with you in 5 years, 10 years? You've got folks like Kay Armeyer, who's been in this school for many, many years, but she's seen all of her kids go through this entire school and has seen the growth and things of that nature. So that landlocked piece was really, really important. And then when you start researching schools in this area and you look at the track record of what Mother Teresa provides from an academic background, it's second to none. It's amazing when you have families and you have administrators and principals from high schools around the region and around Cincinnati that come and say the kids that come here from Mother Teresa are so much farther better prepared than any other kids that we get from any other school. And you've got principals at major high schools around this community that say that. That is a really, really big testimonial and something that really stood out to us as this school is preparing them for high school education. And then obviously that was acknowledged with Sister's remarks about the blue ribbon. So finally getting some acknowledgement for the work that Sister and her staff has done. But then on top of that, you take the academic side away and you look at, what other things are my kids going to be interested in? Are they going to be interested in the arts? Are they going to be interested in sports? Are they going to be interested in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or American Heritage Girls or karate or dance or band? What is it? We don't know when your kids at kindergarten what they're going to like. This school has it. That's really, really cool. So whatever your kid's involved in, they can get involved in sports in 3rd grade. They can run track as a kindergartner. They can do cheerleading as a kindergartner. We've got girls volleyball, boys volleyball, girls and boys basketball. There's so many cool, we have a football program that we're tied with St. Mike's. But from an extracurricular standpoint, it has everything that your kids are going to want. And that's cool outside of the academic piece. And then you throw on top of that, we have youth ministry also, I forgot about, Glee Club and all of those different things. But then on top of that, obviously more and more parents nowadays are working. Both parents are working, both of us work. We have a latchkey program that is absolutely awesome, where your kids can go after school, be looked after, get a snack, do their homework, play with some kids, and you've got a very, very affordable, more than affordable option for your kids to spend time in an after-school program. That's a great, great asset here as well. And then when you look at what are the opportunities for parents, I've been involved in many different facets around the school, and parents have the opportunity to get involved and do things. I mean, Sister touched on it. This school was founded by families like yourself. We're not opening these doors to more families in this community and asking you to join. 20 people. I mean, that would be scary. If you were sitting here and I was sitting in your seat and said, hey, there's 20 people that are up here and only 20 people go to the school, I'd be like, you guys are nuts. I'm not sitting my kids. 20 people, are you crazy? But you've got 530 kids down in the school. I mean, this is a very, very viable option for you. But when you look at what opportunities parents have to get involved, whatever your talents are, I mean, we've got public school teachers that send their kids here that are on our education commission. We've got owners of businesses that help us on the finance committee, that help us in development, that help us in marketing, that are on our boosters for our sports teams, that are involved in many different assets. And I don't say that because you have to get involved. I say that because it's really cool for my kids. They know how important school is to me by my involvement. And when I'm involved in a marketing committee meeting, or I tell my kids I've got to go to a meeting at the school, they now know that education is important to me. Because I'm sure all of you are involved in your kids' lives in some capacity, whether you coach sports, or whether you are the leader for Cub Scouts, or American Heritage Girls, or Girl Scouts, or whatever your kids do and whatever they do. I'm sure you're involved in some capacity. But when you're involved with your school, it stands out to your kids. It shows them that the education that you are investing in for them, that it means something to you. And then it means something to them too. And so that's the major reason why I try to stay involved more than anything, is because of kind of the lessons that it instills. So I'm going to let Colleen talk a little bit about our individual experience here for a minute, but thank you very much for coming.
Okay, I'm going to get behind this computer and you won't be able to see me anymore, but I have to read. So, good evening. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Again, I'm Colleen Schaefer, and as Chad mentioned, we have 3 children in the school, but what he didn't tell you is that all 3 of our children have epilepsy. Our oldest daughter, Georgia, who's now in the 7th grade, was diagnosed at age 2, which was well before entering kindergarten. And of course, we wanted her to attend a Catholic school, and specifically MTCES, as we did more research. But we certainly had reservations, knowing that Georgia and subsequently our twins, Cameron and Caroline, may require special attention. So I'm hoping that none of you are familiar, but if you are, you know that epilepsy is a tremendously unpredictable disease, and it often changes with time. So we didn't know, would our kids have trouble learning? Would they have trouble concentrating, organizing, making friends? And most importantly, would Mother Teresa Catholic be able to meet their needs? And here we are, standing 8 years later, still with 3 epileptics, and I'm here to tell you personally that the teachers and staff have far exceeded our greatest expectations. Kathy can attest here, you'll meet her in just a second, that I have sent too many emails to count, and enough time on the phone with the office to warrant my own speed dial button, and they have without fail demonstrated timely and compassionate responses to whatever situation they've encountered here while the kids are at school. There have been seizures, naps in the office, emergency medications, special care plans for a rapid classroom exit, and many more exceptions to what would be considered a typical day for this staff. And above all, my children are flourishing in this school, and not a single member of our family has been ever made to feel anything but part of this beautiful family here at Mother Teresa. In closing, I want to share with you one of the many responses from our teachers over the years via email. Upon finding out that our twins, Cameron and Caroline, would have the same first grade teacher, I emailed her to ensure that she'd be comfortable with the overwhelming task of having 2 epileptics in her otherwise very busy first grade classroom. And her email is representative, really, of the collective responses that we've had from teachers for 8 straight years when they get these emails at the start of the year, in the middle of the year, whenever our family has demanded more of them. And the email reads, "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Schaefer, I too am excited to have the twins in class together. I would not have it any other way. I would be more than happy to sit down with you to discuss the medical needs of Cameron and Caroline. I want you both to know that the twins will be in a safe and loving environment. Please know that I will do all that I can to meet not only their educational needs, but also their medical needs as well." I'm available to meet anytime and tell the kids I can't wait to see them. That is a direct quote from the email. So as you sit here this evening in the very same seat that we were in 8 years ago, and you contemplate the future of your children, know that, as I said in the video as well, we take a leap of faith sending our very unique children to school every single day. And we really would not consider sending them anywhere but here to Mother Teresa Catholic Elementary School. Thanks so much for your time.